So we're finalizing Discontinued Week. It's been about a week and a few days, and I've been doing a discontinued fragrance every single day, letting you know what I get from it. And then this weekend on Saturday, I will be doing a list of my top 5 discontinued fragrances and their alternatives. So even though I gave you a bunch over the last week, it's only going to be my top 5. In this video, I'm going to be ending it out with a bang with one of my favorite discontinued fragrances of all time, and I only got it recently by Mugler. This is Angel Men Pure Malt. So without further ado, let's get it. Alright my dudes, welcome back to my channel and back for the last fragrance on my discontinued week. And I'm actually really sad to end this because I was really happy going through all of these different fragrances. A lot of them are my favorites as far as the discontinues, and I wish that they would have brought them back, but at least I have a full bottle of all of them. Sorry if you don't. But I went through Mugler already this week, and as you guys know, my wife's favorite Mugler is right there, Ultimate. Even though we haven't tried Tonka, which I hear is a better version of that, but who knows? I really like Ultimate because it has that cappuccino vibe. But with that said, the one that we're going to be reviewing today is probably my favorite from the entire Mugler Amen line, and this is Angel Men Pure Malt. So, as you can tell by the bottle, it's not one of my favorite looking of the bottles, even though they're all pretty cool. It's black with the amber inside, which is kind of, yeah, it makes sense because it's like a woody whiskey malt fragrance, and so that color kind of makes sense. But with that said, I got this in about 3 weeks ago. I found it for $87 on eBay, and so I picked it up, and I am really excited that I did and that I got it for that price because it's usually going for around $200. But just be patient, look on eBay, keep looking. It took me 3 months to find it, finally found it, really excited I did. So I'm going to, before I get into the video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And if you do like this type of content, please think about following me on Instagram and TikTok under either FragranceDoud or @FragranceDoud. So I am going to give you the note breakdown for Pure Malt, as this is one that I haven't reviewed on my channel before. So the top notes are fruity notes, orange, and bergamot. The mid notes are malt, whiskey, patchouli, coffee, and cedar. And the base notes are peat, vanilla, amber, and musk. It's advertised as a fruity, woody whiskey fragrance, and that's the best way to describe it. I said this to somebody the other day. There's Pure HAVANE, which is right over there. And so every fragrance in this line has that same Amen base, that patchouli, stuff like that. The ones that are the closest to each other are these two, Pure HAVANE and Pure Malt. I noticed, and I almost said, it smells very similar to it, and it really does. The only difference between the two fragrances is one has tobacco and honey, and one has whiskey and malt. Those are really the two differences because both of them have that woods in there. Both of them have that vanilla in there. Both of them have some musks in there. It's just one has malt and whiskey and one has tobacco and honey. But for the most part, you can sense everything surrounding those main notes is really the same. And so if you know what HAVANE smells like, you'll have an idea of what Pure Malt smells like. I do like Pure Malt better because of the way that one comes off. My wife also does like this. She does not like Pure HAVANE. That one's a little bit more mature. I like this. This one's more rich, warm, syrupy, really, really nice. So when you first spray it on, there's fruity notes, there's orange, and I believe there's bergamot that were in there. But really all you need to know is in the opening, you have that malt and whiskey with a little bit of peat. If you don't know what peat, it's just like a dry, smoky malt-esque fragrance note. So it adds a little bit more of that malt feeling to the fragrance. There's musk that goes through this entire fragrance, so that is definitely there. It's not a main note, it's just an underlying note, as well as some woods from that cedar. They just float through the whole fragrance. They never leave. They're there. And then also a little bit of spice doing the exact same thing. Really, at the top of the fragrance, though, you get those fruity notes mixing with that malt and that whiskey. But the fruity notes, it never really comes off super fruity or anything where you can pick out this type of fruit. I think that's why they put fruity notes. And then in the opening, you get a little bit of freshness for just a few minutes from that orange. Outside of that, the orange really does dissipate after about 10 minutes. And then you have a fruity undertone, a woody and spicy undertone with some musks. And then you have that malt, that peat, and that whiskey just floating throughout the entire fragrance as the main notes. Then you have some patchouli, obviously, because that's in the fragrance. Once you get about half hour or so into the fragrance, that's where the spices and the woods really mix together with that vanilla and the musk in the base to give it even more of like a creamy sweetness. And it has that syrupy creaminess mixing all together with that malt. I've never smelled a fragrance with malt in it before, except for I do know what malt smells like. So there is coffee in the mid. I saw that in the mid. I don't really, so don't be put off. It's not like a cappuccino fragrance, or it's not like pure coffee. It doesn't smell like coffee. If there is a little bit of a roasted coffee note in there, it pops in for a second, then it's gone. I wouldn't worry yourself with the coffee if you're not a fan of coffee fragrances or anything like that. Or if you are a fan and you're looking for a coffee fragrance, this isn't going to do it for you. This is a woody, slightly fruity, malton whiskey fragrance through and through, and that's what you get. Outside of that, I don't want to overanalyze this fragrance or keep you guys here forever. The main thing to know about it is just it's malton whiskey. It's a little bit mature. It's syrupy. It's warm. It's sweet. It has a little bit of a spicy woodiness with some musks underneath. It's really nice fragrance overall. As far as the performance, though, so I would have expected, because Pure HAVANE, you get above average or a little bit above average for the first like 3-4 hours. This one is more between moderate and above average. It's not a super beast mode projector, but it's not a slunch either. I just made up a freaking word. It's not it's not crappy. It's not mid. It's just somewhere between above average and moderate. It's going to stay there for a while too. You get wafts of this fragrance for about 3 to 4 hours. It lasts on my skin. I know people say they get about 9 to 10. I get 7 to 8. That's just on me. At that point in time, I can't smell it anymore. But for the first like 7 hours, you get wafts of this fragrance. It's about arm's length. That's the best way to put it. It's about arm's length for the first 3.5 to 4 hours. Then it becomes more of like a personal bubble where you still get wafts of it until hour 7, and then it's pretty much at that point gone or starting to be gone at 8 hours. I love this. It's really hard to find, and it's one of the most popular ones that were out there. So again, keep your eye out on eBay. If you can find it, it is a great fragrance to get. Maybe try Reddit or something like that, because I know some of my subscribers use that. Probably will do a decant giveaway at some point just so somebody else can try this that hasn't. But overall, it is a beautiful fragrance that if you really want to have something that is boozy, warm, it's rich, it's syrupy, has some malt in there, it's unique, and then it even has like a little bit of a classiness. Oh, I forgot to mention, fall and winter fragrance. I would wear this more at night, but it can be worn day or night, fall or winter, depending on where you live. If you live in somewhere like LA or something, this is going to be more of your fall and winter nighttime fragrance. Where I live, you can wear it throughout the entire day into the night. It's just really nice. It even, once it dries down and has that vanilla mixing with that spice and that malt and that whiskey, it even becomes closer to a cuddling fragrance further down the road. My wife really loves it. It's a mass appealing fragrance. I definitely think that this is one that was ahead of its time along with Pure HAVANE. I think that they are really just masterclass of the designer fragrance community. They are over the top as far as quality is concerned. They're beautiful, not synthetic. Really just a beautiful fragrance overall. I'm not going to get any more into it. Just telling you guys, if you can find it for a good price, $130 maybe or less, then you should definitely try it out. Beautiful fragrance, beautiful line. I just wish they would have kept it out there, and hopefully at some point in time they bring it back. But let me know if you guys have tried this before, what you think about it. I know we've discussed this in my live before, but pure malt, beautiful whiskey, woody, boozy, slightly fruity fragrance, really nice. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I will be back with my full discontinued video where I do all 5 of my favorite discontinued fragrances as well as their alternatives on Saturday of this week. In between then, I have 2 other videos to give you guys as well. So thank you guys very much. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back with another one. Peace.